Hey guys, today we're back to do a TM22 disassembly and assembly. Also some cleaning. I was requested to do this by a couple of you subscribers, and I decided to tackle it. So we're going to start right into it. Basically, what you need is two things: the castle nut wrench that came with your Derya. You should have that. This takes off basically your barrel and your castle nut for your buttstock. And also you need I believe it's a 4mm, if I'm not mistaken, Allen wrench. It's definitely metric, so it is a metric formatted piece of machinery. So everything is metric on the gun. And why is that? Well, this again is made in Turkey, right? I'm not sure if the Arms Corps version, which is the same gun, is in metric or if it's not, but regardless, this is the Canadian version. Okay, we're going to start off by doing some simple things, making sure that our gun is unarmed, no ammo, safe. I have no magazine, so my chamber is empty. So I just wanted to show you right off the beginning. And also another disclaimer. This is how I do it. Does that mean it's proper, or that's how a professional would do it? I'm not sure. This is how I do it. So take what you can from it and, make it your own. So, okay, anyways, so we're going to start with the 3 Allen key screws on top. There's 3 of them. One's longer in the back, the other 2 are shorter. We're going to take them off. Okay, and this will allow us to get access to the bolt assembly. So you just basically take them off, and that's how they do it. So this might get a little boring for you, but anyways, I have already kind of untorqued them so that it's easy to come off. So that's basically it. So basically this is what it looks like when you take it apart, for those who don't know. Ooh, she's dirty. We'll clean her after. So this is your assembly in here. The bolt action is held together. You got the recoil spring that is sitting in here, and that's what's keeping it in place using the tension. So when you take it off, you just got to be careful. There will be a little tension on here, as you see from the spring, so just hold on to it while you remove it. Okay, so that's number one thing. Now, obviously it's not going to come off. Why? Because we have our charge handle still on there. So you just want to do this. I believe it's the same. Yeah, it's the same Allen key. It's a number 4. So you just unscrew that, and that comes off. Okay, so we're just going to take that out of the way. Now we can easily bring this up and out, and there's your whole assembly right there. This comes out like this. This is your spring, your rod, guide rod, and this is the little cylinder that holds it in place to guide it. Okay, the brass one. So this all has to be cleaned out, and obviously your firing pin is in there, and I'll show you in a little bit how to do that. Okay, so we're just going to put that down for now. Okay, so as you can see, it's a very simple system. Derya has made it where it's actually not complex. I find it a lot more simpler than a 1022 take apart. There is another thing that I'm going to do just to show you is I'm going to remove the castle nut here and bring that right back, and that'll loosen up the plate here. And I can go ahead and unscrew this. Okay, so to do that, you have to make sure that it's totally off the screw here. You do not remove this screw here, guys. Do not remove this screw, okay? Make sure this plate is back so you can turn. There we go. So we're going to turn the assembly. So I'm going to take this one off, okay? So, and I don't believe, here we go, get out of the way. I don't believe this thing is in any tension. Do you have to take this off? No. To clean the gun? No. I am taking it off only because I want to do a thorough cleaning inside. So there it is. It's taken apart. So So I can go ahead in there and reach with my rod and clean it properly. You can take the barrel off. I'm not going to take it out today, only because this is a lender and I don't want to start taking their guns totally apart. So after you can also take the front grip, the hand grip off as well. So we got access to the barrel. I like to keep it polished because you do get it getting mucky, especially if you're using it out in the field. So this is as far as I would go taking it apart. And basically from here, I'm just going to go ahead and clean it. And to do so, I have a couple of tools, and I'm just going to bring them out. So, hold on, guys. So what I use is basically gun pads, cloth to wipe it down, makeup pad, it's for makeup, and some Q-tips. And what I use the Q-tips for is for hard reach areas, like in here, where it's like really hard to reach inside your chamber, and just clean out in there where it's hard to reach, and outside in the corners here, and also inside here. So these are the areas that are a little tough to get in with the cloth. So I use the Q-tips. It does a really amazing job to clean it. Look at that. I didn't even have to do anything else other than the Q-tip, and it's brand spanking new. Now I'm going to just take this off for you, and I'm going to show you what other use you can use. Use it for in here too, for the cylinder. Okay, for the cylinder, for the bolt, I should say, assembly. So just cleans out really good in there. So these are the little things you would use it for. I also use it for the head here, where it's hard to, I like to do finer work. So I use the Q-tips. It allows me to get in the areas where I can't with the cloth. So as you can see, just by looking at it, just by a few touches, it's already cleaned. Now, if I wanted to go further and clean this out, I would have to remove the pin and to remove my assembly, but this is a fairly new gun, and it doesn't seems to be working a good operation. I mean, like, I don't feel it like any restrictions, or it's gummed up in there. It feels quite nice. So I'm not going to go ahead and do anything more than that. Just remove some of the dirt in here. So that's it. So that's as far as I would go. And I'll give it a good wipe. Now, as for oil, I don't use oil in here because oil will gum up, and with all the grime and firing the gun, it does actually make the gun operate worse than better. So the only thing that's going to get oiled up is from the exterior, from underneath here. I'll place a little bit of oil here, so because this is where it makes contact with inside the top receiver. So that's the only place it's going to see a little bit of oil. I'm not going to place any oil inside here. Okay, it just gums it up, and then it makes it hard for the pin to travel through there because it traps dirt inside there. So we don't want that. And this little brass thing here, you got to be keep an eye on that. It's not the greatest piece of metal, but you just got to keep it clean. Okay, so the best way to do that, I don't think a Q-tip will fit in there, does it? No. So you can use possibly a brush or just blow it out, and it looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna leave it like that, and then as long as I keep my rod clean here, you see it's not very dirty, so it should be fine. All right, and then here, right, you just want to use your cloth and get in there and clean it. I'll do that off camera, and just get all the debris in here. You can use the Q-tips for some of the harder to reach areas, right? And then just in here, like in there, just right. So you can use that on the ramp here, feeder. Okay, so there you go. So that all just gets cleaned up like that. So that's how I would do it. Polish it up here. There we go. Okay. So just that's the most important area here. So you don't get any jam ups. The trigger guard assembly doesn't really require anything. I don't even oil it. Not at this point. There's not. I mean, it doesn't need that much oil. It's a new gun. So I'm not. The more oil you put in, the more it gums up. I mean, you do need oil where there's metal contact moving. But other than that, it's fairly good condition. This gun, you can see, it hasn't been used very much. There's very little wear. So that's how we would go ahead and clean it if we were to clean it. All right, so we've cleaned the whole gun. We've went through the receiver area. We cleaned as best we can in there. So it's wet right now. There's a little bit of oil residue left behind, but anyways, it's a little oily, but it's okay. So we cleaned out the barrel. So now I'm going to go ahead and reverse the order. On this one, oh, there's a gasket it looks kind of worn out here. Very cheap stuff. Anyways, so make sure you oil the thread when you put it back in. And it was kind of pointless to take this out. If you wanted to be able to access a rod through there, you would have to basically take this pin out of here to remove. There is a stopper in there, so I didn't get a chance to place a rod through the back. But anyways, regardless, I'm kind of more worried about this plastic piece here. It looks like it's been mangled. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's not a very good stop, is it? So I'll put that one back in there. So anyways, yeah, it doesn't. I don't know what these guys are using. Just cheap old rubber parts. Okay, so anyways, so just gonna put this back in just by basically turning it as far as I can go, and we'll do that simply just by doing that, making sure that the plate is out of the way. So we go as far as we can go. Okay. Okay, it stops right here. So I'm going to turn back, right, and then align the plate so it can fit over the screw. I don't know if you can see that. There's a screw there. Just align it. There we go. Now it's in place, and just tighten up the screw, the castle nut. Just put it back in there. All right, so nice and snug by hand. And then I'll give it a little bit of a turn with the castle nut wrench, just by turning it like so. Okay, so that's done. So now, if I can reach out here. All right, I'm just gonna bring this along. Oops, sorry. So that's done. So now we want to work on our bolt assembly, which I have polished and cleaned quite well. And to me, this is the most important part for me, anyways, that I get this cleaned as well. So we have the brass spring that fits back in here. So we want to put that back in there, and the rod, right? Now the rod has also a spring, so this the assembly has to go back in like this. So, all right, so that's how that works. Okay. Now, if you put the brass spring the wrong way, you'll find out, because as soon as you go to push it this way, it's gonna fall out. So we don't want it to fall out, obviously. So we're gonna put that in, and it should line up with your serial number being on the closed end. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Just slap it in like so, and just pull back on the spring until the rod is exposed. Drop it in its slot, and you got it back in. Now, what you want to do to complete it is put the charge handle back on. So you just go ahead and put it by hand. You don't want to tighten it by Allen key right away, or by power tools. If you can end up stripping the threads on that, you don't want to do that. So start off by hand first, right? Until you can't do it anymore, and then you can just go ahead and torque her down. Okay, so that's that, and already got her dirty. Not good. My hands are dirty. Okay, so that's how you put the assembly in. You'll know it's in. You know, you can see that the assembly works fine here. There we go. See that? It slides nicely. It's been lubricated Feels better than what it was when I first started. So I'm going to put this back in. But before I go ahead, okay, you want to put your handguard back on. This is the top here, okay, with a little slot here for the screw. And you want to make sure you align the front, because the front has a little plastic guide that holds the barrel in place. It's aligned in the middle. There we go. It's in. And then you just want to bring this back to 12 o'clock right here. Okay, so this is where your rail is going to screw on. So you want to have that lined up to the top. And then obviously this fits like that. This is for your hand rail, right? And these two are for the upper receiver. The long one goes to the back. So you just basically slap it on here. And then you can go ahead and tighten these down. And let me start with it. Okay, here we go. So that's the last one. Torque her down. It's pretty, has to be snug, but not too, I mean, I don't overdo it. I mean, I do take it off all the time. I don't want to overdo it. I just want to make sure they're snug so it doesn't come off. It's not an item that needs to be worried about. I mean, you don't have to worry about snugging it down. It's not like it's going to fly off or anything. It just houses the receiver. So that's how you do it, guys. That's how you clean out the gun. Well, not clean out. That's not what I'm showing you. How to disassemble and assemble the TM22. Any other questions, you guys can comment down below. I would like to see more people subscribe. I notice people are watching the channel, but I need more people to subscribe to show some support for the channel so we can produce a lot more interesting videos. And I'd like to thank and give a shout out to Rob for allowing me to use his TM22 for this purpose, for the disassembly. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you.